Yeah. Ah. Alright. I'm gonna check. That is supposed to be this. Oh.
Hello my friends, welcome back to another video where we speak about the absolute worst things possible on the internet. And today, it's really no different. In fact, this is a case which is naturally very, I guess, disappointing to a lot of people, to a point of where it's shocking, it's just, in general, sad, to be honest with you. Because the topic that we're talking about today involves somebody that a lot of people have looked up to, but I actually have to start this video in a bit of a different manner to all of my other previous videos. Now, I've spoken about these types of topics previously, and I feel like I've handled them pretty well, and usually in those videos, I would give an absolute conclusive opinion on everything going on in those situations. But in today's video, it's a little bit different. I cannot give you a conclusive opinion on everything in this situation, mainly because of the lack of facts. And that is a bit of a strange thing, because naturally, I will get a lot of people saying, well, why are you making this video? And typically, my friends, I would absolutely agree with you. I would say, yes, in a situation where there is a complete lack of facts, you know, usually...
Carol, I'm Munchkin.
I got one of those too.
I got one too. We should get sushi, Karen.
It's Carol. With eBay, you get the item you ordered or you get your money back.
It's Karen. Everyone's a winner with eBay's money back guarantee.
Oh, I got my knot. Oh.
You wouldn't say anything until at least more information comes out, somebody responds, somebody, just in general, puts out some extra information here. But the issue is, well, the internet, you know, being the internet, has pretty much come to a conclusive opinion on absolutely everything in this situation. And in fact, this situation has gone absolutely viral, and yes, we're obviously speaking about the boy in the band situation. If you go onto TikTok and if you go onto Twitter right now, there are posts out there with hundreds of thousands of likes, millions of views, YouTube videos, and I'm not critiquing these videos because they are actually really good videos with hundreds of thousands of views. The point I'm trying to say is that I don't necessarily disagree with every single post out there, but the point is, despite the lack of facts in this situation, everybody seems to know about the situation. And for the most part, most people have actually come to their conclusive opinion that the person in subject today, I don't know if that actually makes any English sense, but the person we're speaking about today is indeed a criminal. But this situation is definitely different to a lot of other situations out there. Rather than one outright allegation, there are multiple different allegations which actually allegedly span to more than 10 different possible victims, or even more than that, according to certain posts on the internet. And whilst I do actually believe some of these allegations to be true, and whilst there actually is factual evidence of a lot of things that have been alleged to have happened in the past, there is also some things in these allegations where there just in general is such a lack of evidence, and I don't mean evidence of somebody's got out a camera and recorded something. I just mean there isn't even a name attached to certain allegations. There is literally nothing there which makes me think that these things can have even have happened. And I'm not victim blaming, I know it may seem like that, but in today's video, I think to actually do victims justice in this situation, we need to go through the facts, the contradictions, the things which just in general are very confusing, because this entire situation is like a spider web, and we've got to go through the entire web and kind of piece everything together in this puzzle, because honestly, it's just so insane what's going on here, and the internet, whilst I do agree with a lot of the opinions, I feel like the main problem is that a lot of people on the internet don't actually know what they're giving their opinion on. I think they've seen one thing and they've ultimately just said, that's the thing, and I'm going to go with it. Which, with some things in this situation, I can completely agree on. At the same time, I do think we wouldn't be doing any victims out there any due diligence or any fairness by not going over the false facts. Because a lot of situations have happened where there has been an actual terrible thing, but with that thing happening, a lot of other people come out and start spreading lies and misinformation, and it kind of allows things to cloud and become blurred, and that actually stops real victim stories from being told, and that is why I believe it's important to speak about not just the facts, but also the possible mistruths. So allow me to introduce you once again to the Boy in a Band allegations.
I was never taught what laws there are. I was never taught what laws there are. Let me repeat.
Dave, don't worry, mate. You don't need to repeat stuff. We know. Now, again, I do have to say, yes, that indeed is technically, and I think legally, without me getting sued for slander, hey Joe, can you make things crazy? You shouldn't be making jokes in these situations, and you're probably actually right. But honestly, I want to present this information to you in a way where you do not throw your guts up, but naturally I am going to put a little warning and say, trigger warning for pretty much every different form of abuse. And I'm not saying all of those stories of abuse are completely accurate, but ultimately we are going to be dealing with literally every possible, well, I believe nearly every possible form of abuse in terms of discussion. Dave from Boy in a Band is a massive content creator who over the last decade has become absolutely beloved by his audience, by just in general, people around the world. This guy's been known for so many different things throughout the YouTube space, and with Dave he has quite a unique connection to his audience. A regular YouTube audience, they'll click on the video and that'll be that. They'll have a nice little laugh and that's their day done. But with Dave, it's a bit different. His audience have always had a little bit of a close connection, a personal bond, something which has made it a bit different to a regular YouTube audience. And at this point, I'm not saying anything sinister, it's just Dave has been really known as this guy who helps, honestly, he's been known as the dude who provides support for his audience, which for over a year has been something that the guy has been absolutely celebrated for. But fellas, just because somebody posts something on their YouTube channel, it doesn't mean to be evil. And I know some of you may say, oh, what, my favourite influencer? No, fellas, I have seen some of your favourite influencers' voting records, and I'm just going to say, it's not looking good, Brett. But yes, that leads us into the main things today. In the last couple of months, Boy in a Band has been at the forefront of multiple serious allegations, where it's stated that he is allegedly emotionally, financially, physically, and even sexually abused many young girls who are allegedly fans. These allegations have been around on the internet for about 2 months now. They originally, for the first month, were circulating around Dave, Boy in a Band's community, but then in the last month, they've gone absolutely fucking viral. Like, these posts are everywhere, and pretty much, as I said, people now see Boy in a Band as a complete and utter criminal, which, given some of the things in this, I can completely understand, because honestly, there are so many different allegations, but one of them does have an outright piece of evidence where I'm just saying, I don't think it's defensible in any way, shape or form. But I do also think that Boy in a Band does deserve a chance to at least provide some context and defend himself. Now, again, I'm not saying that these stories are false, but I am saying that if Boy in a
Looking to buy your first home but have no savings? No problem. At the Home Buyer Centre, $1,000 starts your home journey. With Finance, Land and Home, we make first homes happen. No savings? No problem. Contact Home Buyer Centre.
the band could come out and actually prove everything to be absolutely false, that would be great, because naturally I don't want anybody to be a victim of abuse, and if it did turn out this entire thing was complete bollocks, that would be the ideal scenario. So what I did did was actually DM Boy the band and pretty much ask for some clarification on the situation because, you know, I didn't want to put out a video where I could be told by Boy the band himself that there are these factual things soon coming out where he could disprove everything, so I thought it would be best to DM the guy. But as you can probably imagine, I have had absolutely no response, and I even DM'd some unnamed mutuals that I have with Boy the band who are friends of the guy, just asking, is he going to come out with a response, is there more to the story? And as you can imagine, I got absolutely no response, so that's why I'm making this video today, because as I said, everybody already knows about this, and I do think the issue is that a lot of people that have given their opinions due to how to speak English do not know the facts from start to finish. So let's start off with the timeline. Now, as I said, these allegations have been floating around on the internet for the last 2 months now. These were something I actually saw quite early on into the allegations. I received a DM of somebody being like, hey, Fraser, this guy is completely thinking nuts. And you know what? I receive a lot of DMs about that, to be honest with you. Usually it's probably somebody messing around, somebody doing a little bit of a trolly-wolly, but in this situation, no. I saw these allegations and I thought, yes, these are quite serious, but weirdly enough, you know, nothing was coming from them. Then randomly on TikTok, it blew up. Somebody got the story trending and everybody started speaking about it. But the fact is despite it's now a time of recording, the 9th of October, these allegations began on the 27th of August from a Reddit account called Astacas, which was created in May of 2022. And when you actually go and look at their Reddit history, they made a few posts here and there of where they were making non-relevant posts, just like any other common Reddit user. And you know, if you do have a Reddit account, I mean, you're probably going to face some out there. I can't say that. Just Reddit, not my favourite website, but alas, yeah, there were just regular posts, but then randomly on one summer's eve, the 27th of August 2022, they responded to a 7-month-old Reddit post with the very first Boy the Band allegations. When I say allegations, these are actually not allegations. This is more of a buried truth. This is something which has been either hidden or forgotten for the last few years. I'd say probably more likely to be hidden because I don't believe that the evidence which is publicly available is now publicly available on the websites they were originally on, and they are now accessible via internet archives. But this is a dirty little secret which has been hidden for over the years. As the guest says, here are the screenshots of a 17-year-old he dated when he was 23, and she admits to it at the time of dating him, and it's all on a blog that he designed and was under Boy the Band's name. And yes, that is bad, but the problem is this begins quite a theme of not misinformation, but information which weirdly hasn't been presented as the original allegation. Because throughout this entire thing, I've noticed that there are things which actually back up a lot of the allegations. But the problem is they weren't linked, they weren't originally shown, or they were buried at the bottom of some random massive long post, which not everybody would get to read because, you know, we all have ADHD-riddled brains, and not all of us can, you know, last longer than 10 seconds of reading a post. But yeah, the problem is that this gets even worse when you find out that Boy in a Band himself has actually also confirmed it on his own blog. And despite all the research that I did, I genuinely didn't know this until I only recently watched another content creator, Jimmy Robbins' video about the Boy in a Band situation, which I do have to say is a very, very good video and probably way more concise and shorter than this. So if you do want a concise, you know, viewing of the situation, I do recommend that video. It will be linked below. But yes, Jimmy Robbins actually discovered this.
On Daytra's website, I used the Wayback Machine to find a second website where I found a blog post he made in 2011 where he says he was dating a 17-year-old since she was 16. And at that time, yes, he was 23, so he dated a 16-year-old when he was 22, and here is him admitting that.
So yes, it naturally does get worse when you see that Boy in a Band himself has confirmed this, but I know I will have a lot of weirdos in my comment section saying things like, well 17 to 23 isn't that bad. Honestly, fellas, if you're thinking that, I'm just going to say maybe close off this video because I'm going to thoroughly disappoint you. Not only do I think 17 and 23 is an inappropriate age gap, because I'm not going to lie guys, I know me at 23 and I know me at 17 years old. These guys are completely fucking different human beings. Like, honestly, 17-year-old me was a fucking gremlin. And honestly, 23-year-old wasn't necessarily a gremlin. I'm more evolved into Gollum, but I don't think Gollum should be dealing with with gremlins, you know? It's just something which you don't really want to see in the modern game, and I think this is another case of that. But alas, it does get worse when you actually realise that the context here isn't just a 17 and 23-year-old inappropriate age gap, it's also the fact that Boy in the Band met this girl when she was 15 and he was, I believe, 21, and they started dating when she was 16. On a post on David's blog, he made something which to me is honestly the most incriminating piece of evidence in this situation, where he says, David's got a girlfriend. I know of a girl called Rachel, and then he then states that he actually met this Rachel 2 years before this post, and then she started messaging him, and, you know, basically, I guess, they started hitting it off. And the reason it's bad is because that post from David was made in 2009, and then you look at Rachel's post.
Put it on me, my palms your body. It's okay, at the lake, it's a party. It's a motherfucking party. And I gotta go down. Ooh, put it on me, my little palm.
In 2010, which does confirm that she is 17 years old. And it doesn't take a math wizard to realise that, Rachel could have possibly been 15 or even 14 years old when they met, and Dave would have been in his early 20s. Which I don't really know how it would work in Dave's situation here with grooming laws, but either way, it's not necessarily a crime in the UK for a 16-year-old and a 21-year-old to date. But the thing is, in the UK, if you do that, you're pretty much going to get fucking ousted from society. Take it from me. When somebody was in, like, senior school or high school, whatever you want to call it, when I was a year 9 dating a year 11, you would be received as my friend a nonce. Now, it's not a crime, technically, but, as the British say, you would be, in the British eyes and not in a criminal way, you would just be deemed, again, a nonce. Now, this situation is really no different to the James Charles situation, and I will continue to fall on that, because pretty much everybody on the internet has time on James Charles and has the opinion that he is a terrible person. Even if he isn't in jail or not, people believe he's terrible, and rightly so. I myself am in that category. But James is called terrible because he, in his early 20s, had an inappropriate interaction with a fan, or just somebody who was a young person, pretty much. I say a fan, I mean a young fan. And that obviously is a wrong thing. That obviously is a disgusting thing to have happened. So why is it any different in this situation? Is it because you have a bias? Is it because you like this content creator? Is it because the content creator seems to be less annoying than James Charles? I don't think that they are accurate and necessarily viable reasons in order to deflect away from the fact that this guy has done exactly what James Charles has done. People will also say, it happened years ago. Well, Boy in the Band was massive in 2016 and 2017. That was only 5 years after his relationship with Rachel, who, bearing in mind, after like 5 years, I still don't think would have been the age Boy in the Band was when they started dating. So yeah, it's a little bit fucked that anybody would actually see this as any different to the James Charles situation, regardless of everything else we're going to go through today, and regardless of all the different contradictions and missing pieces of information. And I don't necessarily think it should be excused because it happened years ago, you know. And honestly, 10 years really isn't that long ago, but also a grown man dating such a young girl could really do some damage on that young girl. People may say I'm reaching there, but honestly, when you do look into the further allegations and what has been alleged in this situation, whilst as I said there isn't much factual evidence, I think the fact that a 22-year-old man is willing to date a teenager is, a bit of a representative of their character, and again, completely indefensible. And as I was saying, I think that teenager could easily have had their brain or mind, whatever you want to call it, damaged, just because of how inappropriate that age gap is, and also that power dynamic. And you may say, what do you mean by power dynamics? Because, back in 2011 and 2010, Dave wasn't as famous as he is now. That's true, but being a big famous YouTuber isn't the only power dynamic. Just having such a large age gap, Dave being somebody in his 20s who can more likely financially provide for himself That's a power dynamic in itself. Just being a 22-year-old in comparison to a 16-year-old who might most likely isn't financially stable because they are a kid, they are financially dependent on their parents, meeting somebody who is a grown adult who probably is financially stable to at least to a point of more than the 16-year-old, that's a power dynamic. It's exploitative, and it's just, in my personal opinion, morally wrong. And honestly, for me personally, this is the one thing of where I'm like, yeah, I don't even need to hear the other things, because this is just pretty much enough for me. But as I said, we do need to go through absolutely everything, because one, there could be more victims in this situation, but also there could be misinformation in the situation which actually does prevent real victims from being spoken about, such as the girl we just briefly referenced, who was in a relationship when they were a child with a grown man. I don't want that to be kind of put into a blurred line, because I have seen a lot of people out there say there aren't any real facts in the situation. And the fact of the matter is, yes, there are facts for everything. There are certainly facts for some things, but I think that means we do need to do the due diligence of going through everything. And that is furthered when we move on to the 7th of September 2022, when Aestheticus posted another post about Boy in a Band once again, but this time it was very, very different. In comparison to the previous posts, this blew up. But the previous posts, I believe, didn't actually get any traction whatsoever, and I think they were also being removed from a lot of subreddits, which, you know, is a bit suspicious of one, but, you know, maybe it was a moderator just thinking it was spam or some bullshit. And, you know, we're not going to get into deep, crazy theories here, but yes, a post was made, sorry I can't speak English language today, I am quite ill, but yes, a post was created, and this post was the beginning of the downfall. Dave from Boy in a Band, over a decade of abuse underneath an almost perfect persona. Now, allegedly, what this post mainly is actually a letter. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. A letter was created and supposedly sent to the family and friends of Dave in order to kind of make them aware of what is going on, but also, I think, more of an allegation that his family and friends are enabling Dave's alleged abusive behavior. It says that they are writing this letter in hopes of stopping patterns of abuse and stating that the amount of victims in the situation is now allegedly in double digits. So what we're going to do is take a look at the facts in the situation, we're going to take a look at the contradictions. In the situation, and also the weird little holes, which kind of makes no sense to me. But firstly, we do need to actually outline the key allegations in this letter, and as I said, once again, are at the moment just allegations, especially a lot of them where they're really seem not to catch them, and I do just have to also clarify, when I say I want like some form of evidence, I don't mean like a fucking, somebody gets their GoPro out and starts recording Dave doing some horrific behavior. That's obviously not a realistic thing, you know? You don't just have a fucking GoPro strapped to your head. You're not a chronically online YouTuber. What I'm saying, what I want here, is a name, a picture, something attached to these allegations, which just isn't an anonymous Reddit user. Now, I understand that it takes a lot of willpower for a victim to come out and speak about their story. That's completely understandable, but I can't just take that and say that we need to be trialed by Reddit in this situation, you know? I can't take a Reddit post and say these all are absolutely true, because there is no real co-signing against things. Whilst I can add things up, and whilst there are already incriminating things out there, there are a lot of things mentioned in this post which just really, there is nothing to back. And again, I am not saying I need video evidence, I'm just saying there's at least some form of name. This isn't a criminal court where a victim is going to be having their name protected. This is Reddit. Anybody could do this. I could literally make a message to myself right now pretending, I don't know, fucking PewDiePie is actually keeping me hostage unless I get you all to subscribe to his YouTube channel right now. Something like that, you know? I don't know, Aidan from my podcast is actually I don't know. I don't want to say anything too bad. He's bullying me. You know, he's stealing my glue, something like that. I could make this all up and post it on Reddit anonymously, and I wouldn't expect people to believe that about Aiden or PewDiePie. So again, I just need to preface that before we actually look at these allegations. But yeah, let's get into it. 1. Dave for years now has displayed abusive behavior with lying, manipulation, and emotional, financial, physical, and even sexual abuse of many young girls. 2. Dave dates a young fan. Well, we already know that. Again, I said I'm going to date Jeff, but we know that's true. That's one thing which is factually fact, and again, indefensible. And I'm just having to go through all the allegations, all the other reasons. But that's the fact. Dave ended up kissing Rachel, the girlfriend mentioned before, and even had Rachel sing a song where the lyrics were taking her without consent. 4. He has a pattern of dating young fans, pretty much locking them into a relationship and then discarding them when they refuse to do what he wants. 5. He is a hebephile, which I believe means that he is attracted to teenage girls. Now, I can't outright, I don't say diagnose the right word, but I can't outright be like, oh, he's 100% this thing, but it does add up with a grown man dating a teenager. That does absolutely...
I hate stick drift.
Again, let's continue. 6. He encourages them to lose weight, calling them lazy and disgusting, seemingly, in my opinion, I guess, to try and bully them into unhealthy conditions. 7. He coerced multiple young girls just into being polyamorous, advertising it as a superior way of living. 8. He uses depression as justification for treating his partners like shit, and he also has a serious problem of substance or medication abuse. And 9, as I said before, the amount of victims in this situation are allegedly now in double digits. So yeah, this is quite a lot. There's a lot of very serious and heavy allegations, and I'm only laughing because I am honestly incredibly uncomfortable right now. I'm in a position of where I'm thinking, I never expected this to ever happen, and I think it's because I have become a hypocrite and bought into somebody's public persona, because Boy in a Band was worshipped as this amazing, wonderful, smart individual for so long, and all of this suggests that that's a complete, utter fucking facade, and all the other things which have been proven, which we've kind of gone through so far. But alas, it's still a surprise just to read on paper. But ultimately, I can completely understand why a lot of people wouldn't want to believe all of these things other than the thing that we went through previously that is factually available on the internet. Because there isn't a name to kind of co-sign these things. Rachel is, I believe, the only named ex-partner in this situation. And again, it would be like, if Rachel ever did want to come out and speak about this, I understand it's a difficult and brave thing to do. But I don't think that really Rachel's name can 100% be used other than speaking of her dating him when she was younger, because she hasn't co-signed this as far as I know. But also with this, as it says, there are 10 victims in the situation, and I'm not saying that they would all...
What does Soda Fountain do again?
The amount of possible victims, usually when a situation happens or somebody gets accused of something,
okay. I need to put classic on. But what does Soda Fountain do?
False people coming out, as I mentioned with James Charles
That's
previously.
unquenchable.
You'll always get people being like, on an anonymous Twitter account, being like, this person did this to me, this person did this to me, not providing any evidence whatsoever. But in this situation, that I don't believe has happened. There hasn't been any person saying they're part of this allegation. There hasn't been any actual face speaking up. There's not really been anything other than the things other people themselves, other YouTubers and content creators have added together. So I'm not denying these allegations, but I'm saying that how they are presented is very, very difficult to kind of consume, because it's a letter. It's a letter to family and friends. And whilst this letter may be appropriate to send to family and friends that are aware of the situation, I think when the allegation is first being brought to the public's attention, there needs to be a bit more than a letter. I think it needed to be a Reddit post where everything was concisely laid out with all of the bits of the information from the spiderweb of allegations, put in like a timeline, kind of how like this video is, and then include the letter at the bottom being like, oh, we sent this to the family and friends of Dave. I think that would be a much better way to do it, but the problem is, because it's been done in this way, now there's a bit of blurred lines. Now you've got people saying, there's not enough facts in the situation, when the fact of the matter, there is a fact out there that he indeed did date somebody at an incredibly inappropriate young age. That's a fact. people, I think, for the most part, will see that and not want to associate with that. But with everything else, it kind of makes the lines blurred. But again, with all the other stuff, there is still things which can actually add up to that, and there are also pieces of evidence of actual inappropriate actions between Dave and his own fan base, which is still currently public available. But again, the problem just is, it's all a complete fucking mess. And I understand the content creator or Reddit poster was just trying to clearly help people. It's just not really been the most helpful way of doing it. Even when you look at the screenshots attached, it's just mainly 50 plus screenshots of a group chat of apparently Dave's exes speaking to each other about the alleged abuse they endured. And I'm not denying that these screenshots are real, but ultimately I can't really expect people to take these as authentic evidence, because as much as we can say, you know, we should believe victims, in the situation there aren't victims being attached to this. These are just messages with no name, no face, no co-signing of absolutely
Ooh. Oh.
Anybody other than my anonymous Reddit account. That is the only co-signing of this. So I just don't know how people can really take those messages seriously, as disappointing and sad as that sounds. And I'm not trying to sound like a victim blamer here. I'm just trying to come at this with a neutral kind of understanding, because for all we know, Dave could actually come out of the video and actually be like, all of these things are complete and utter bollocks, and here is the proof that kind of proves that. So I don't want to come on here and be like, oh yeah, I completely believe these things, which one person has put out there, which literally anybody could put out there about anybody. I could make a Reddit post where I put about any of you guys. Would I expect you all to believe it? Hopefully not. And again, when you look at those 50 plus screenshots, there is actual evidence posted right at the bottom of Dave's relationship with Rachel, but it's right at the bottom. As I mentioned earlier, we're all ADHD fucking riddled freaks, you know? Like, we aren't going to all read everything, so when there is one...
Shopping and the financial year sales and save with the Latitude 10 Visa credit card. Enjoy 6 months interest-free on everyday purchases of $250 or more. So you can replace something old or buy something new and pay it off over 6 months interest-free. Apply in under 10 minutes.
Introducing the powerful new LDV T60 Max with 160 kilowatts of grunt. For a limited time, get the auto for the price of the manual from only $38,990 drive away. All utes are not created equal. Well, unless they're the same ute, of course. Visit a dealer today. LDV, bring it on.
Real bit of evidence right at the bottom, I just think that's a little bit silly, because ultimately not everyone's going to see it, and when you're posting all the other things without much factual proof, it's just going to cause people to forget the real evidence and kind of put the rhetoric out there of, hey, you know, there's really nothing in this situation, which honestly I don't think is true, but even I was buying into that before I really looked into things. And whilst I do think that the main issue with these allegations is how the information has actually been presented to the internet, I think that we should actually go through these allegations and kind of break them down and see if there really are any links we can make with things that I and other content creators, like the content creators you mentioned previously, have found in this situation. Starting with number one of alleging that, yes, Dave has been displaying abusive behaviour for years now. I guess this kind of is an over-branching allegation of everything mentioned in this document, so I don't really think we need to go further into that. So we'll move straight on to number two of Dave dates young fans. And as I said earlier, this is proven. Now, throughout this article, where it was lesser, it does mention that Dave dates multiple young fans, when in reality is now we only have evidence of one case of that. But the fact is if he's willing to do it once, I mean, he's probably going to be willing to do it again. That's all I can take. I mean, in all the other situations where I've seen somebody get exposed for one bad thing, it usually turns out they've done that bad thing multiple times. Again, bringing up Dave Charles, it happened multiple times, and especially when Dave fans seem predominantly quite young and usually teenage girls, especially when he was in his heyday of like 5 years ago. But yes, that seems to be factually true, but again, there isn't any proof of other people. But I will say, I really wouldn't be surprised if that part is true about there being multiple other young fans, because he's already dated a young fan. Number three is the lyric about "take me without your consent." And yes, this does exist. This is a YouTube video which I think a lot of people have seen at this point. But there again are some issues, but I am just going to play the clip first. Okay, feel free to post your track as a video response to this one. Now it's time to sit back and take a listen to the final finished 7-Day Dance Pop song. Now, personally, this is obviously a very fucking weird lyric to have. Like, regardless of the times, it's still going to be considered weird to say something like that in 2011, especially when it's known that your girlfriend at the time was a young teenager and you are a grown man in your 20s. Obviously, it's going to be a bit weird. Now, we naturally can apply that, yes, back then there was more I guess, edgy humor. Edginess was widely more accepted back in the early 2010s, but still, it's a very fucking weird lyric. But then in the Reddit post, it does say that this is Rachel speaking, and I have done a plethora of research, and I just said plethora, so you know I'm being serious. No, I've done a lot of research, and I couldn't find any proof of this. Now maybe it is, maybe people who are fans of Dave or Boy in a Band can, confirm this in my comment section, but I haven't really seen any evidence to back it, and I think it's also kind of suspicious because the girl in the song sounds to have an American Californian accent, but when you go and look at Rachel's old posts, it can show that she clearly was growing up in Wolverhampton, which is where Dave is basically from. So it's a little bit strange. Now, obviously, we can all do American accents. Oh my God, I'm sorry. We can all do. I'm sorry. We can all do American accents. We all can. But I don't know, there's not really any evidence to say that that is her, but that doesn't change the fact that this lyric is fucking weird, and it kind of does reflect that, yes, this guy did have some at least weird thoughts going on back in the time of 2011, in particular, round about the time of where he was dating somebody who is a teenager. And this is kind of, again, the whole issue of how all of this information is kind of presented. Like, if somebody posted this being like, this is what he said in 2011, and not necessarily, this was definitely this person, it would be, I think, more damning, because it would kind of show his attitude and how he was a little bit odd. So I say a little bit, he was very fucking odd back then alone. But yeah, it's not really being presented, and when people have asked for proof, the original poster had actually said that in the past there was actually somebody that called out Dave, an apparent victim, and this was in 2016, and apparently the girl that called out Dave was harassed, and Dave even doxed her. But once again, there is no evidence of this. And I am aware that some people are going to accuse me of victim blaming. Trust me, I'm not. The reason I'm saying this is because I don't want the possible mistruths to misconstrue with the actual truths of an actual teenager has dated an adult, which in my opinion is very fucking wrong. I don't want that to be forgotten because of all the other possible mistruths, or at least things which aren't factually backed. And saying that somebody was doxed or harassed without any form of evidence, it's just not going to help. But to be honest with you, even going back to the comment that we were referring to earlier about those lyrics being sung by Rachel, I actually don't think that's the most damning thing about this song. Instead, when you go to the comment section, you can actually see a comment made by Dave himself, where he says this is a pop song which he was trying to make lyrically authentic as well as musically authentic. Now, I don't really know what that means, and maybe I'm reaching here, but to be honest with you, to say you wanted it to be lyrically authentic whilst you're saying that, at least talking about taking without consent, that's a little bit odd. Now, maybe I'm reaching, but given the context of the situation we're discussing today, it's definitely very weird. But then we go back to the next allegation of Dave being a pedophile, and again, this does line up with previous things of Dave dating a teenager. I don't really know the outright definition of this, but based on my own brain, I think they are similar things, right? The guy was an adult who was dating a teenager who definitely wasn't fully developed at that age. I really don't think that's possible. It's just I'm trying to not sound weird here. I think the two line up pretty much. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm fucking treading on glass. It's mainly because I am. Because when it comes to these things, people are fucking mental. And there are also the allegations of financial abuse, but also coercing people into being in a polyamorous relationship. And I've seen a lot of people saying, where's the evidence of sexual abuse, or where's even the story behind the allegation, because they do begin it and don't really go too much into it. I personally believe if you are coercing, especially a younger fan, into a polyamorous relationship, almost trying to put a lie, well not a lie, but like, if they're not polyamorous and you are doing your best to manipulate them into being polyamorous, that is quite abusive. If somebody says that they're not polyamorous, you should accept that. Just as if somebody says they are polyamorous, you should accept that. It's somebody's way of life, whether they are or they aren't, and that's none of your business, and you definitely shouldn't be going around saying that you should be this way because it's a superior way of living. In my opinion, if that was true, it would be sexual abuse, but again, with this allegation in particular, and the financial allegation, there really isn't any evidence of it, and now, as I keep going further into this, I'm thinking to myself, there is signs of bad things going on throughout this, and it makes you think, well, it really wouldn't surprise you if you did all these other things. And whilst I do believe that's true, I do think that just to make it so much...
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN means sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Get NordVPN and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
much more impactful, you should really provide the things that can be proven. As I keep saying throughout this, I'm not denying any of these things, but I'm also not accepting absolutely everything. I think this whole thing would be so much easier if somebody just came out and co-signed this, if somebody with like a name attached to them said something, but at this point of time that hasn't happened. But that doesn't mean that previous haven't publicly spoken out about Dave, because whilst Rachel has been spoken about a lot in this situation, there was actually another partner of Dave's that spoke out about Dave and actually said some things which do line up with some of these allegations.
Logic to my business, we told you constitution. Oh, I see why you're avoiding me and blaming it on the press. Some here at the hospital using fingers and say, I'm not recording music fit for content any method.
You know, my friends, I'll be a complete fucking hypocrite if I said to you right now, oh, look, it's not technically illegal, he should guilty of being a dick. It's like, yeah, that's true, he is guilty of being a complete dick, but I made 2 videos about Gus Johnson not visiting his girlfriend in hospital while she was going through a traumatic event, and I think this is clearly another case of that, of Dave, for one, not being a good boyfriend, being a dick, but also the key thing to take away from this is the whole using depression to get away with things, get away with bad behavior, because this is something that does play into these allegations. It says that Dave does use his depression to control girls by justifying why he treats them like garbage or even playing the victim card. And you don't really need to go further than adding 2 and 2 together to see that, yes, that lines up with what the diss track says of his previous partner. So again, we have the issue of, we don't have any names attached to the allegation in the Reddit post, but we do have a previous YouTuber, previous partner of Dave, saying the things listed in the document. And again, it will lead into the question of, hey, is he going to do this with other people? Is he going to display abusive behavior with other people? Probably, because abusers don't just fucking stop after one abusive relationship, they'll go into another relationship and abuse the next person. It's the sad reality of things. I know people that have been in abusive relationships, and that person that they then broke up with went into another relationship and abused another person. It's fucking devastating, but it's something that's happened. And now, again, there isn't any textual evidence, but I am more inclined to actually believe this. Because, once again, there is a face and name attached to this. There is a co-signing of this. And that makes me think that, yes, these things line up. There is a video from 2019 when this allegation wasn't even out there, lining up with what's said in a post 3 years later. So naturally, it probably, in my opinion, is true. So yes, in this situation, it is very much a case of, whilst the information hasn't really been publicly presented in a necessarily a great way, not an awful way, but just, I don't think posting a letter is really going to completely convince everybody in the world of all these allegations. So what we've had to do is look at all of the things that happened in the past, kind of go through all the cobwebs and identify the little pieces of information here and there which we can kind of attribute to things. And yes, there is a lot of sussy-wussy little things going on. I say sus, yeah. That's not a good thing to say in a situation. There's a lot of bad things, basically. There's a lot of terrible things and a lot of indefensible things. And yeah, it's not looking good for us, as I keep saying, but alas, there was also a lot of other things out there, including Boyna Band himself actually kind of giving the self-report of where he displays that he actually does definitely have at least an inappropriate connection to his audience. Because as I mentioned earlier, Dave does have quite a unique connection to his fans. It's a pretty wide-known thing that his fans are very celebratory of him, saying, Dave helped me so much, he helped me through this and that. But it is going to a point now where I'm thinking, again, I'm going to have to thank Jimmy Robbins because, for one, the video he did, very concise, genuinely a really good video, but he brought something up to my attention which hasn't really been mentioned by, I'm pretty sure, most people. This is something which I haven't seen referenced anywhere other than in Jimmy's video, and I think it does give clear evidence of inappropriate behavior. And again, whilst it's not illegal, you don't fucking need the law to dictate morals. As I said previously, the law in certain countries allows you to fuck your cousin. That doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't mean it's moral. It's wrong. But because the law's saying it's legal, you're going to think that's right, it's a good thing to do? No. Being a dick isn't a crime, but ultimately, we can still not like somebody for it. So basically, what Jimmy discovered was a community post. In fact, it was his last community post on a YouTube channel. This is his main YouTube channel, Dave Boyna Band, with 3 million subscribers, where he's basically asking his audience if he should overdose on medication in order to speed up the effects of his prescription doses. I can't really explain, I don't know why I can't put it into words. This is just fucking weird. As a YouTuber, right, there are unwritten rules which we have of where there's no-goes, and I think this is one of those no-go areas. This is just fucking weird, inappropriate, honestly, parasocial relationships. This is something on those ends. This bloke is speaking to an audience of kids, pretty much, about whether that he should overdose on medication. That's so fucking weird and inappropriate and displays behavior of, once again, I keep saying behavior, but more inappropriate behavior. It shows that this guy definitely does have at least a weird connection to his fan base and lines up with the other inappropriate connections to fans in the past, particularly Rachel. I know they're not on the same level, but it does just show that this guy is clearly, at least publicly, willing to be a little bit inappropriate with his audience. But what I think definitely makes this worse is, as I keep mentioning, he has a young, impressionable teen audience. So somebody in the audience may actually see that and think, oh, my favourite YouTuber, Boyna Band, who made that video about schools being bad, but actually I might do the fucking same because he's so smart and wonderful. And you may think, Fraser, they're not going to do that. I'm sorry, my friends, but that's just how little idiot kids think. Because kids are fucking idiots. You are an influencer. You influence. And even putting out the possible idea of overdosing on prescription medication is fucking stupid. This guy has the public reception, as it says in the public Reddit post, of being publicly perfect and honestly quite a smart guy. But this post just reads to me that he's a fucking idiot. Why would you put this on the internet? Again, as I keep saying, I don't think anything illegal has been actually proven in this situation, but there's certainly some things which have been dug up to show, fuck me, how did this guy kind of get away with a lot of this stuff? It's not good. And even if he does, disprove anything, I think he does need to acknowledge that what he is posting here isn't appropriate and is wrong. So it's clear that he does have an inappropriate relationship with his fans. It's clear that he does have a public ex-partner speaking up against him, lining up with allegations of using depression to kind of paper over his bad behavior. But also, again, referencing Jimmy Robbins, he shows that in a Reddit post there is an ex-friend of Boyna Band basically saying that Dave's not pretty much a very nice guy, and there is a lot of sus things about him that the public pretty much just don't know, that this guy pretty much uses people or takes advantage of people.
something really exciting to share.
We're finally getting...
Mary! Mary!
I don't think she heard us.
Mum, we said we're getting marble bench tops.
Oh dear. Don't let your internet let you down. Get IONET NBN. Now with 4G connection backup. Available on all our plans. Switch to IONET today by calling 131917.
And this post does actually seem to be co-signed by an actual real friend of Dave's. And usually I don't really delve into like, oh, this person unfollowed this person, this followed this person, but also a public friend, Jaden Animations, actually unfollowed Boy in a Band. Now, you may think, Fraser, well, what are you fucking turning into TMZ? No, I'm not. But when somebody gets unfollowed when they are accused of abuse, it's usually a little indication, especially when that person is a close friend. It says to me, maybe they knew more, because I think if they didn't know more and they unfollowed them and then it got proven to be false, they would look really bad. And maybe that just is going to be the case, but ultimately, I don't think that is the case here. I think an unfollowing has happened probably for a reason, and mainly probably the reason that, despite everything and all my criticisms of how information has been displayed, he dated a 16-year-old who he met as a fan when they were 15 and he was in his 20s, which is indefensible. I think this has been a really strange situation because it's a weird one for me to say that I don't personally think I can agree with everything, but at the same time think that there is one thing out there which kind of overshadows all of the other things, but also maybe makes those other things believable. That's not a usual situation to get these allegations, but ultimately that's what we have here. We have a severe amount of inappropriate actions, but also a bunch of allegations which don't have much evidence to back them, if any evidence or any names whatsoever. And I know people will say, well, don't you think that with all the things that you have kind of proven, that all the other things will most likely be proven? Because, you know, if he's willing to do all those other things, he's surely willing to do the other things. Well, yeah, I do agree that definitely is a plausible thing, but that's not going to fucking hold up in a court of law, is it? Just being like, yeah, he did this thing, that might mean he did that other thing. I know logically we will think like that, but obviously I can't say that those things are true based on, oh yeah, it could be like that. That's just not how legally it's going to work, unfortunately. I'm going to conclude this situation by saying that this time today, I really hope it doesn't come off like I'm victim blaming. I am just bringing up things which I think are either suspicious, pieces of misinformation, or just weird holes in the story, because I think a lot of people have also took them and used that to blur the lines and make people think, oh, there is no factual evidence in the situation, or at least anything in the situation, when there actually definitely is. I think that is something we both need to look into, the facts and the misinformation, at least until more comes out, at least until a name co-signs this, or even if Dave Boy in the Band himself comes out and responds to it. But it doesn't seem likely because Dave Boy in the Band hasn't posted on YouTube or Twitter in like 2 years. The only thing that he has been doing is posting on his Instagram, but even then, after these allegations of the last 2 months, it seems that the guy is MIA. And I understand with some responses it can take a while to actually build a response, but at this point, it's 2 months. The public has condemned this guy as a horrific person. Again, can't speak English. So it makes me think, why is he still remaining silent? Maybe he is building like this massive piece of, I don't know, media to present all the facts, well, not facts, but all the things or allegations as a lie. Maybe he is going to do that. But 2 months? That just seems like a very, very long time to do it. It is very suspicious, and I am kind of concerned that these things are actually true. Now, in my opinion, a lot of them probably are. Maybe not everything, but with everything we've gone through today, it just says to me, if he's willing to do some things, why would he not be willing to do the other things? As I said, that doesn't present in a court of law, but obviously this is just my opinion. This is just how I feel as somebody that regularly covers these situations. And again, I think we would be hypocritical if we didn't give it the same attitude that we gave the James Charles situation. I think that would be utterly ridiculous. I'm going to end this video by saying this is a very confusing situation, but ultimately the one at least conclusive opinion I can take on everything is that Dave is certainly in the wrong in a lot of these things. To a point of where I don't really think there's much of a return. It kind of depends on what your moral compass is. With my moral compass, I don't think I can really fucking defend most of the actions which we've actually spoken and proven today. But alas, ultimately a lot of people will take the things which aren't proven and use that to blur the lines to either bolster an agenda or if they're lying about that, why would they not be lying about other things? But personally, I would like to know your opinion on the situation. It is a bit different to a lot of other allegations out there, and I don't really think it's going to be solidified until more information comes out from either Dave's side or the accuser's side. Because at this point, all we really do have is an anonymous Reddit account and also a bunch of posts that a lot of other influencers have kind of stitched together to link things. And really, that's kind of difficult to come to some form of overall, overarching. But ultimately, my opinion is he's not really a good bloke.
Unlike a bird, man was not meant for the skies. Forgive. Do not forget. You seek to provoke me, demon? I am ashamed. Deeply ashamed. This is the end of you. You should have foreseen. What manner of sorcery is contained within these bones? Fortune smiles upon us. We must seize the moment. From the face of this world.
Gondola call. Gondola arriving. Gondola.
Such gifts may come with strings attached. I hope Gum's benefits are not short-lived. Spirits may use the wind to call from the darkness. An evil presence hangs in the rafters of this room. It brings chills to the bones.
I can only assume that you intend to procure Group 935's research for your own twisted goals. Know this, my old friend. I will take whatever steps are necessary to ensure that you never leave the castle alive.
children. And ladies and gentlemen, whenever I see an account on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever the social media platform is, not this one though, because nobody uses this anymore. Whenever I see an account which is pretty much just orienting around children being posted onto that platform by an adult, by a parent, by any form of adult, when the content is simply surrounding children, it is the sole burning point of why people view this TikTok account. It always brings more dilemma and more question into my tiny little brain sample. Should children really be used as the center point of a TikTok account ran by a parent / guardian, or just in general any adult? And to
No.
my surprise, I think no. Because ladies and gentlemen, I'm a TikTok creator. I love making videos, but the thing I like more than making videos is
This is the end of it. You should have foreseen.
very important that every single content creator on the planet is constantly in pursuit of getting a 1 in 10. What is a 1 in 10? Well, YouTube is pretty much the system which says if you got a 1 in 10, that's your most viewed video in the last 10. And that means to me and to you that YouTubers, Instagrammers, TikTokers, whatever you call us, all want to get.
You are not worthy to be this memorial.
It gets a little bit fishy because YouTubers will do anything to increase their views. And when that involves children, that's a little bit worrying to me because one, children cannot consent to being in these videos. They do not know what they're doing for the most part. They don't know that they're being presented to millions of people. And with the House of Love TikTok account, it is definitely being presented to millions of people. And of course, to me, is a bit of a moral dilemma and ethical issue when it comes to any social media profile that does this same sort of thing. But I guess the natural question is, well, with this account, what actually is the House of Love? Well, yes, the House of Love is, of course, this TikTok page, but when you do a little bit of digging, a little bit of research, you can discover that the House of Love is actually a shelter, which is in Azerbaijan's capital, Baku, which is owned by the former First Deputy Prime Minister of Azerbaijan's daughter, Kunal Gizmova. And I do have to say, I think I probably mispronounced a lot of words so far in this
No.
video.
I swear to God, it's tag. Oh,
I'm an ignorant Brit, and I'm honestly
shopping for you. Okay.
to Azerbaijani words or names of cities and towns, so I apologise if I have deeply offended anybody, and if you want to go get mad in the comment section, honestly, you're absolutely entitled to. But yes, the House of Love is this shelter, and this TikTok page seemingly is videos of children who are in that shelter right now, and what they do on this TikTok page is live streams, videos, and Instagram lives where on these live streams they seemingly get sent donations which apparently go towards helping the children in this shelter. And ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Fraser, what actually is the problem here? Because yes, putting aside the moral dilemma of having a TikTok account which is solely based around posting children, it seems like a pretty nice and genuine thing, doesn't it? It seems like you've got a charity here which helps out kids who are in need. But the problem is obviously the dark theory surrounding Baby Totu.
Hello.
Hello.
Baby Tutu thing.
This shelter
Wait.
has a lot of social media presence, Totu, and that translates in English to take owner of a Baku orphanage where children are told
Can I
to drink
have
water
the
they hydrate
text to
in.
speech
Seeing
off?
all of this,
No, I
and
can't.
I feel so bad for this little girl. I mean, I wish that there was more that I can do. I just spent like all my morning trying to look into what I could possibly do.
So yes, as you can work out right now, people think that this shelter and this TikTok page is ran by some extremely devious, sinister and evil people, and Baby Totu, as I said, is somebody that resides at the shelter, and in the videos posted on this TikTok, some of them have gone viral for the wrong reasons. A video in particular of Totu seeming terrified and honestly not looking healthy at all, with hair seemingly falling out, went viral, and people started getting angry. People started doing investigations. And with that, it obviously led to a lot more sinister accusations and also just sinister beliefs out there. People out there even believe that Totu is actually not even a girl, but is actually a boy, being dressed up as a girl in order for the shelter to garner more donations.
Why would
so not actually go to the children, but actually go into the back.
I don't want to know that drama right now. Oh, I just watched. What the? What was that one?
Welcome back to yet again another horrible day on the internet. And as you can imagine, it's just as your world. Yes, I need to cast your memory back to a situation from a few months ago. Do you remember this video? Yes, I hope
On the
so.
house.
I do, and I hope you definitely
No.
subscribe. Because in this
I will get it later.
certain amount of allegations. And in that
Really?
video, we pretty much went through all
Oh,
of the things
shopping
where
free will
it
get
was
me
very,
to
very
power.
strange and peculiar.
Very
And
quick.
honestly, it just in general isn't a good thing. Now, my friends, I'm going to politely ask you to take everything from that situation and remove it from your brain. I know you are not deceptions. My friends, the allegations no longer exist. They've been removed from the internet, and they are no longer here. And you're probably thinking, Fraser, what are you talking about? Well, my friends, allow me to introduce you to part 2 of the situation, where things have certainly gone weirder and definitely
Double points, double points, double points, double points. Alright. Spin gob. Shopping free. Shopping free, yes.
pretty much absolutely horrific. Pretty much take every single hot button topic you could be accused of on the internet as an influencer, and my friends, you have the volume of back allegations. And as I said, I covered this in a video where we critically analyse the original allegation, not necessarily taking any immediate sides in the situation, but critically analysing
I'm not gonna buy that door, even though I should.
with this original situation.
Okay.
Because natural when allegations are made on the internet, you need to be cautious. As much as I understand people do want to support the victim, sometimes situations on the internet are very, very strange. But how I brought up with all of this in my previous video was the fact that this allegation was a little bit different to a typical YouTuber allegation.
Come on, I can make it, I can make it, I can make it.
Usually it's in a video of where a face and a name is attached to these
No.
allegations.
Oh,
What we had here was a letter posted onto Reddit by a
so close to jug. Around 2 power. I'm not really good at movement, so.
I know I will soon be thirsty again.
Now, my problem is basically, well, you should actually get some form of consensual proof that you are representing the people you claim to be representing and actually have that consent to post these things.
I need to go get dragons on.
We've got some screenshots in group chats that show 0 names or 0 images. It's just allegedly a group chat of people getting together like the Avengers and saying, yes, that's a for the band, he's an absolutely horrific bloke. Now, I don't deny that, but my friends, this isn't enough. This is a major, major issue with this situation. I am not asking for camera footage recording the place on the band who is absolutely heinous.
That's 1 kill and it's already smoking.
Some names, some faces attached to these allegations because currently anybody can make this kind of post, anybody can make these claims, and anybody can say absolutely anything. But as the opposite, that does not mean that I don't think that there is any validity to this allegation or situation. At the end of my 40-minute deep dive into the situation, I pretty much came out saying that whilst I think that there is pretty much not any evidence for 80%
Running out of bullets always happens at the worst possible time.
that Moira Bang is a very immoral and bad person. Because despite there are some things in this Reddit post that really don't line up with everything because, you know, there aren't any things attached to them, there is some evidence out there to prove that this guy has done some very shady and immoral things, in my personal opinion, that I think it's important for us to outline these major things. Number one, being the most important and vital fact in this situation that Dave Moynihan was confirmed to have dated a 16-year-old girl while she was the age of 23 and have
Okay. I need to buy a gun. So you finished? No, of course not. I kind of want to get a ray gun. If I get a ray gun round 3, I can do dragons really easy. I should have checked where Wallby was. I'll just pick it up. Would prefer the Locust. The Locust. BMP, yeah. I should have got rid of the MR6. I need 50 points. 50 points. Spreadsheet, nice. I need a pack of VMP for Liquid Divinium. And get to round 7. Oh, I need a spin for gold. I need to go downstairs. Get loose change. No, not there. It can never be there. Bob pack, it is. Let's get in a row. Come on the house. Wait, it can't be on the house. I got on the house first, so.
In certain places in this world, you can marry your cousin. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. Please not do that, my friends. That is very weird. But alas, yes. In this country, when you're 16, you are still a child, and Dave was a 23-year-old adult male, not being male and pretty me making it. That 23-year-old man, Dave was a child. It's disgusting. It's impossible that we're talking about this. Yet again, now the ex-partner of Dave, when they made a fish strike in the past on Dave.
It appears local economy has not improved since our last show.
The original Reddit documents of where it says that Dave uses
I hope this is my lucky day.
So my next one is extra crap, and I'm not gonna pick it up, even though I should, so I can get to the rocket. Kinda wanna save it. So I'm gonna get on the house after getting a jug. Oh, Buxton's one there. I need to go get all my shield parts after this.
Also, it does lead up to things mentioned in the original letter, which didn't have any evidence to back it, that Dave uses his depression as a way to get away with doing.
Yeah, I need shield. I just cornered myself. I'm gonna go work on shield my dragon.
With a community post where he asked for advice from his fanbase on whether he should overdose on medication or not. It's inappropriate, and yes, it does indicate a strange relationship between Dave and his fans. A relationship which isn't the usual relationship that
I don't really know how to build right now. Just need to get better at that. It's not here. It's here.
I will guard this with my life, though I hope it does not come to that. This weapon is so beautiful.
Video flashback. The allegations no longer exist. They've been removed from the internet, and they are no longer here. Yes, this is a very, very real thing going on right now. The allegations on Reddit have been outright removed from the original user. Every single post that the user made does not exist anymore. You can go through their Reddit account, which does still actually publicly exist, and you can see that there is nothing to do with going the band. There is no trace of reason for this, there was no note, there was no response or actual, I guess, reasoning in general to why this has all been taken down. It was just...
If time comes, I
and
will
my
gladly share
first
this object.
instantaneous thought when I heard about this situation was, okay, damage control has begun. This situation happened in August, right at the ending or the midway part of August. This started to come out, things started to leak, people started talking, it blew up in September, and the damage control process has now begun. They have said anything, and the moderators of the Boys Band Reddit are starting to take things down. No, that's actually not the case, which makes this
For literally minutes,
Sorry,
I have told you.
The two.
Because a lot of people will see this and definitely start changing their minds on things. Has the internet made a mistake? Is Boyna Band actually innocent?
No, he's not.
I don't believe that is something Dave Boyna Band can actually achieve in a situation at this point, and that's exactly why I went to things which are undeniable in this situation. Dave, when he was in his 20s, dated somebody at the age of 16, ranging towards 17, and got to a point of 17, was teaching that girl when she was 15, 14, while he was still in his 20s. That was a thing.
One more? Or are you finished? Please be finished.
At the age of 16 years old, my friends, newsflash, you're a child. So, okay, if Dave isn't innocent in this situation, then what is actually going on here? And why has the post been removed? People may think that it's not a big thing that the post is gone, but I actually doubt very, very much this. This post is the only real valid allegation that we currently have to date, and with that no longer existing, people will immediately start to think, well, what if it was inauthentic? What if the person felt bad and removed it? What if this? What if that? And they, as I said, will start to believe Dave's innocence. Because you cannot deny that the original poster of this allegation was no doubt very, very suspicious. For one, over the last few months, people have been replying to the original letter before it was deleted, simply asking for evidence. In fact, I went over in my previous video, when somebody asked for evidence, the original poster did actually respond. So they fully acknowledge that people want some form of evidence, or at least attachment to the fact that this person actually does know Dave, and they just said something.
Eagle said, this person station. We have an update. Over.
Any evidence to that? There was just a fabricated scenario.
Have you made any progress?
They tried to deep dive into this allegation.
Yeah, Doctor.
Yeah.
Machine is ready. The waiting is a conduit.
It's round 6. Oh yeah.
Proceed with Operation Cheetah. Join your shore.
I got extra code in my pick.
Security Protocol 935.
I'm not really good at gun rotation.
You think straightening numbers will give advantage? Why did no one tell Nikolai he was so popular with Hellpigs? I thought Sneaky Gentleman was Hellpig's favorite.
Both parties in this situation are being outright silent. Boyna Band has on the opportunity to say something for 4 months. And I understand silence doesn't necessarily always represent gifts. At least give us something, man. At least say, hey guys, I know there are things being said, I will address it eventually. But definitely say, well, it's weird, at least we got something. But now we've just got absolutely nothing. I remember when Boyana said it, the box said something, and then randomly came back to the first possible time. And it just outright never said that again. When are we beginning a bad response? The box just dipped on social media.
It's come from my heart with fire.
Well, you know, he's been for years. This guy has the responsibility to respond to these allegations. Instead of including this video to do with that, if you don't respond to allegations,
The security feeds are somewhat alarming.
your silence
What on earth is going on down there?
But I think at the beginning, the first few months,
It seems the area is no longer secure.
Thought that was a Gretchy.
Unaware of current situation.
A moment is forged in this game. Moments forged by First Nation.
Should have run up and went.
but it's getting to a
Enough of your hellish bark.
now. How long can we really make sense? But also, it gets worse in terms of the context of some of the things in my last video
Ammo now
have
at maximum.
actually one of the biggest parts of this whole thing that really blew up. It was
Yeah,
to do
okay,
with
I was
this
right.
lyric. Okay, now the context of this was basically in the original letter, they alleged that this was Rachel, the 16-year-old we have spoken about previously. This was alleged that when this was sung, they were 16 to 17 years old, and boy, the band was 23, such 24 years old. And either way,
I'm gonna get rid of the Gretchen as the most dumb thing I could do, but
relationship. I still mess with this video as much as this is an allegation. In the song, but actually that's not true. Obviously, there was a post made on the Boiler Band subreddit, a separate one, saying how the more they look into this case, the weirder and more confusing it gets. And recently, they did an update to that post stating that actually it's now been pretty much proven that that was actually Rachel singing that in that lyric, which not only confirms that yes, it was very weird, but it also outright does confirm their relationship and outright does confirm this thing of they were definitely dating at a very weird age gap sort of range, and it does confirm pretty much everything in this situation. That makes this whole thing, no matter how many false allegations there are, outright terrible.
okay, it's like, I'll just go to the score.
What's really stopping him from having one in the future? You know, he's already done it. He's already put himself into that. He's already guilty of that. So, in my mind, he's just getting
You smell almost as foul as you look.
change much. Yeah, that's right. If you do it once, it's and I'm not saying that it's twice, but I think that's how a lot of
burning hell pig is a good hell pig.
Proof of anything, but given the amount of smoke in this situation, given the amount of inappropriate things we've gone over, I really would be surprised if there was a case of a lot of the things in this post actually being true. But yeah, let's actually get into the proof of this being Rachel.
So, first, I guess you need to find a vocalist. For my vocalist, I woke up next to her and figured, yeah, she'll do, which, as I understand it, is the usual method a record label executive will use to pick a pop star. And yeah, the Rachel will down the vocals and the lyrics from it. The website provides the Rachel.com if you happen to be interested in learning psychology, since that's what she uses on herself. Look for that below. Yeah, since she has most lyrically, it's a between a sexy dance pop chick being overly confident and a schizophrenic person coming to terms with a debilitating mental illness. This is what happens when you get a psychology student to help write a pop song. Incidentally, I think it's pretty cool I've managed to fit two separate debilitating mental illness references into this 7-day song so far.
Yeah, I know this was a long time ago, but you can't deny this is just, it's just weird. Like, they hit this reference, I'm sorry, it's just a bit odd, and I know Dave never really claimed to be a normal bloke. I mean, you don't have to really go past the haircut, no offense. I'm not saying that means anyone with a haircut is, you know, allegedly, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Dave's never really claimed to be normal, and I think this is very
Definitely not Russian made. It has flavor.
this was all actually Rachel. Well, my friends, the weird lyric video was only uploaded a day after the video that I just played you, and given
Need explosive Russian.
the vocalist does sound like Rachel when he gets her to sing in the video saying it's her, and then a day later he uploads the song. It's obviously Rachel, and this confirms
Mind if I pay
so
later?
much. But yeah, I found a comment which is just really weird saying, oh yeah, thanks for Rachel for dealing with my inappropriate jokes. And I know some people will say, well, this is just a normal thing in a relationship. Well, my friends, it's not normal for an adult to be in a relationship with a child. And there was even comments I mentioned before about when he's speaking about the consent lyric, he says that he just wants to be lyrically authentic. What do you mean by that, Dave? I'd love to know what you mean by lyrically authentic in the context of saying consent.
Hello, hell pigs. Nikolai is
So
ready
yeah, not
now.
only do we now have an outright confirmation of this relationship, which pretty much just disregards everything in the situation and only confirms this person is terrible, but you also have to look into the things that people will say again. He says a child, but also the fact he's saying a child does mean that yes, there is a power dynamic here. And I understand the phrase power dynamic is very, very overused nowadays in social media, and it's almost a shame that a lot of these terms such as grooming and power dynamics have been outright pretty much just used in situations where they absolutely should not be. I think in this situation, the idea of a power dynamic can definitely be spoken about. And people will say, oh, well, you know, he wasn't famous.
It is good job these machines are here. They please Nikolai very much.
The definition of power dynamic means you have power dynamics in every single relationship. In particular, a relationship when you are 23 and somebody is 16. You can be in a regular relationship.
What happens when we recover other
I guess power
Maybe
dynamics.
Rick will tell us of its plan for future.
I've been getting it better at hitting the things. Okay, so I have 500 to get back. I need 5,000. This is 1,000. Yeah, I'm almost 7 points. So, but yeah, I have 10,000 points left over.
This device surely cannot be safe, can
And that
it?
is a natural power dynamic that obviously any 23-year-old should know they should not go anywhere near, but they themselves obviously has done
On the
that.
house.
But sadly, with
Yes.
Gum tastes much like shit.
will now most definitely
So the teleporter, I can go to the bastion,
accused of, and I just think that's
but I also need to
and that is
go
why I
down
give you the
here.
context of all of these things in the situation, and we have built up to this point because I think it's vital to know the things that are actually true
So many
here
flavors.
and show
I
that
wonder
does
which
not
I get
mean
this time.
Deadshot.
everything here
Great.
is now illegitimate
Okay.
because the post does not exist. Dave's posts still exist where he admits these things, and that is vital. And it's
I can only assume that you intend to procure Group 935's research for your own twisted goals.
you can, I guess, think
Know this,
and
my
that's
old friend.
The Impaler.
Whatever steps are necessary to ensure that you never
Quite suspect if I don't say.
it's kind of applicable. Imagine you have a full bottle of water. Just, you know, add a little bit of Coca-Cola to it, you know, the colour starts to go weird, it tastes a
There
little
we
bit
go.
different, and then you add a little bit of a Fanta Zero in there. The colour starts going even more weird, and the taste is getting a little bit funny now. And then you add more and more juices and liquids and everything you can think of that can go into a bottle of water. The water bottle starts to overflow, the taste isn't the same, the colour's not the same, but ultimately there is still water in that bottle, but it's now kind of become diluted. It's now no longer not just a bottle of clear water, it's
I want
a
to
mix of
get
random things
the
that
things and then enter
and
and
now imagine that bottle of water is a real, serious, proven thing in this situation. I know it's not the best English, but that is the proven age gap in this relationship between Rachel and Dave. And then imagine you know, poured in a load of unproven things which have really nothing to back them. And even the allegation of this whole thing goes into a double-digit amount of victims without any necessary proof of anybody, you know,
there we go.
their names or images to those victims. It starts to get a little bit funny. It starts to become diluted. It starts to allow a lot of people to say there are false allegations in this situation, meaning people can start to just deflect and push things aside and sweep them under the rug under the pretense of false allegations. It actually happened with James Charles. There were a lot of false allegations towards him, and a lot of people started to look past James Charles' real actions because of the false ones. It's just something that happens, and I think it is a problem if we focus necessarily just on the false things. I think we need to focus on the real scenarios which we've gone through in this situation, and that is only further proven by this video. But yeah, thanks to Rachie for helping out with the vocals and lyrics on this one. So I guess this does just now move us into the real talking point of this conversation of, well, if it wasn't any of the things we've spoken about previously, why was this post actually deleted? And of course, that rounds us back to the legalities aspect of this. Is Dave Boyner-Band actually suing the people in this situation? Well, let's go back to that Reddit post speaking about how weird
Explosion will equal bullseye selling ground.
updating it saying that apparently Dave knows who wrote the original letter, and he said, why are they trying so hard to stay anonymous?
Even hands unseen
And then
work to
weirdly
achieve
enough,
better
this then
future.
links to another
That was
post
fast.
somebody is actually agreeing to a now deleted comment, and then in that comment they are pretty much just speaking about slander and libel, and then when you go above these comments, they are then referencing to another Reddit post of where there is a mysterious link to two messages. Now this message pretty much just alleges that Dave, I guess, is trying to or is at least investigating people in this situation. It's a very, very strange screenshot, and in fact the person does respond to this screenshot pretty confidently. And honestly, I don't know if this is just like a personal thing, but I've seen lawsuits in my past. I've made videos in my podcast joking about it, but when you first do get those lawsuits, I personally shit myself, even though every single time they're usually outright fucking bullshit, especially in more, I guess, countries like America and Britain, it's kind of hard to prove slander. It really is, especially on the internet, and especially when it's by anonymous Reddit accounts. So looking at this post, it is a little bit strange, and there is no real evidence to suggest that this is actually real, and in fact, if I wanted to get a few upvotes on Boyner-Band Reddit, I could probably make and forge a message. I'm going to do it right now. Here is a message of me saying I'm being sued by, I don't know, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast doesn't like the fact that I chronically shat my pants when I consumed carb-free cheese. Now, that's actually not a joke, but I didn't shit my pants. I do need to do that. So Mr. Beast Burger, it gave me blues. That's why after I made the person with the big action for me, I don't know why I'm speaking about this. It's probably the randomly people can get these things out. So that, I can make these messages
Russia.
and I'm not denying that it's real, but again, it comes under the thing of how do we know it's real? You need some, I guess, backing here, because in a situation like that, there are always going to be bounty-hungry vultures. So a lawsuit would definitely explain a lot, my friends. It would explain Dave's silence, because, you know, if he actually said anything on the situation, it could possibly damage his case, and it would also explain the fact that the post was removed, because it could be a possible thing here that Dave is suing this person, and this person is in that case by basically removing everything that they have posted about Dave's body to just get out of things. Now, there is no real evidence to suggest that. I do have to keep saying that, but it would explain a lot here. But even if that was the case, I don't think that would be a good idea for Dave. I really don't. And honestly, I think Dave does actually know that. I don't think Boyner-Band is actually a stupid person. I think when you watch this guy's videos, you can understand who he is. I've watched this guy for a very long time. Not every single video, but I know the guy from his content quite well. And he comes off as an intelligent person.
Keep your rocket bully head away from my body.
I don't think suing a potential victim is a route he would think is necessarily a smart one, given the social-economic climate of the world. Suing victims, or even alleged victims, is never a good route to go down if you're trying to defend yourself, because it does just come off like silencing, and it can bring into the irrefutable question of, if you are innocent, why can't you prove yourself to be innocent, rather than forcing somebody to be silenced in a need of, you know, financial resources, because I imagine Boyner-Band does a lot of money. No, I don't even know why I'm he has definitely accumulated a lot of wealth, and he can outright money, and that's obviously a power dynamic in the sense of, oh, look at this big wealthy man with a big social status going to use his power and wealth to silence an accuser. How many billion times have we heard that before in Hollywood and social media? It is a very, very bad look. It's a very, very bad thing to do, because naturally a lot of people
myself thinking of the things I have lost.
In this situation, as far
The
as I
pain
know,
makes me
there
stop.
would be a pretty valid explanation for why this post has just been deleted. Now, you could obviously say that the post
If there is to be more bloodshed,
we're just,
there should be a
maybe
lot
the person was
more.
getting stressed in this situation. Maybe it was more than they could handle, and they thought, you know what, I want out. But again, it was an anonymous Reddit account. Surely they could have just logged out, made a new account based on their own public, actual, real-life profile, because this account really has nothing attached to anybody's personal, so I really don't know why that would mean they need to completely detach themselves from this situation. So there are a plethora of reasons to why this thing could be gone, but I don't think we're ever going to know until somebody in the situation finally speaks up. So where does that leave us in this situation? How do Boynerband fans go about their days now, knowing that they will never see Boynerband in something ever again? Thank God. Because honestly, as much as you can say you hate the bloke's music, he was the worst part of that diss track. But alas, where do we go? Because this is very weird. It's different to a lot of situations of where usually it's somebody we're going to accuse of something, they'll be cast out, or they will, pretty instantly in the next few months clear themselves. Or you could just get to a point of where it's like, well, they come out and respond and, fans remain. Look at Shane Dawson, for example, was accused of a lot of things that they had a massive part of the audience, but the bloke's still taken, he's still getting really into the video. When you're accused of some of the things he was accused of, such as putting things into areas of certain ginger kittens, well, to get 1 million views a piece after that, it's pretty impressive. So it does happen. So what's going on here? Why is he not responding after 4 months, in my opinion?
A strong defense is as important as strong
It
offense.
is no doubt definitely weird, and obviously it does put a lot of doubts into my mind, which I already had in my previous video. But given the fact that we have reevaluated a lot of things in this situation, and given the fact that things have actually gotten worse since, I really can't change my stance, but I do think this bloke is pretty much indefensible, and I don't think he can really rat his way out of this situation. I think it's actually quite shameful that he's not even come out and said, hey man, I'm just like trying to work on a response right now, please give me time. Even that, I genuinely believe that the public will say, okay,
I burn your very heart.
done that. And given the fact that so many people are saying this whole thing has no validity to it, it's such a basic, easy thing to dismantle, well, why would Dave not come out and dismantle it? It's not like these allegations haven't blown up. It seems that loads of people on social
Now,
media
Nikolai, face real challenge.
very much a predator, so why would you name if it's so easy? In this situation, sure, it's suspicious. But yeah, who knows? Maybe he will get inspiration to things and we share discover it if he does. Who knows? Maybe that will be an ideal world where you actually spend how to get absolutely everything. Not really sure how, but everything else is well. That's why I'm not outright saying all of these things are true. Because
There is no forgiveness in my heart.
massive way. I don't know, but I can't really say it right now. That is the ending of this video. Please give me your opinions down below. I would genuinely love to hear from you all because this is a very, very strange situation. And I think it's important to, have a discussion, get our opinions out there. So comment down below. And also, please like this video.
The last Hermitcraft episode was weird, and there's a chance we're going to be continuing that theme in Hermitcraft episode. You see, I
Dogs to play.
I spent
Fetch
all of the previous
bullet.
episode riding around on my hog, which now that I'm a motorcyclist, I know is code word for a motorbike, and let's just say I've had some okay, I can see him. Oh my goodness. He looks fantastic. Kind of scary. He's got little tires. He's actually got little tires.
Free ammo. A very anti-capitalist.
Look at that.
I'm not getting rid of those. No, I want to watch a turn.
Take you back to the base. Yes, this is how I move forward. Everything feels right at this point in time. Oh, I should definitely add some sound effects to this guy. Okay, I'm gonna work on adding some sound effects to this guy. But all of you who are saying, why didn't I just get a horse? This is why I didn't just get a horse. This is pretty good stuff, and for all of you wondering why I'm not using this fast highway, is because genuinely it's actually quite nice to just look around.
I didn't mean to pick it up. Yes, that's what I want. The Wonder Fizz has different locations on this map.
cravings kicking in? Relieve nicotine cravings fast with Nicorette Quick Mist. Give more power to your willpower.
So what's going on, guys? Mr. Darling JD here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to get the new Wonder Spikes Wonder Weapon, which actually acts as a special down, as a massive how to get this weapon. So if this guy helps you out, make sure this you will get from your very first so that it will leave a drop for you. This is the first part. Now for our second part, you want to make your way to the Bastion section of the map, which is the kind of center point above where the courtyard is. Now you're going to notice there's a brand new trap there, which is called the Death Ray. Now what you need to do is activate this trap. Now I advise not to stand in this area when you activate the trap, as it shoots lightning bolts everywhere and electricity on the ground, and if you stand on there for long enough, you will get down. So just leave this trap to run in the background. Now once this trap has finished, you'll notice above where the kind of weird floating metal things are that shoot the electricity, and also above the
Dogs are fired. Mechanization is abomination. At least it is our abomination.
Tesla array initializing.
Where is MacPip? I hear it coming. Forecast is dead. Insta-kill. I will demonstrate superior Russian strength.
There's that.
I will fight my way out of any situation. Training. Can we do that again?
I don't... Oh, it could be over here. I don't know if I could...
Now do you regret your actions?
This one. Yeah, that one, but... Go on. Okay.
Soon there will be blood. The lightning strike always finds its target.
Okay. Same one.
There will be purpose for this. Of that Nikolai is certain. force of nature. You are nothing. Your skin burns, your blood boils.
Number 5. So that gives us one side of this entire thing done, which should give us a good idea of what the whole thing is going to look like, which makes me incredibly nervous. I haven't really been flying away while building this. I have no clue what this actually looks like at all, so I guess as the sun is setting, I'm about to find out. This is good. This is good. This is a lot for me to take in. I mean, this build is so much more detailed than a lot of builds I've worked on in the past. I think it looks good. Again, I think it's made the pillars look a little bit long, but I think once this area gets filled in, it's going to stop looking like pillar extensions, because right now it just makes the pillars look longer, and that throws the proportions off slightly.
But
So I think
the
once
machine
these are
dispense
full,
this
that
time.
these pillars will look in proportion. But otherwise, I'm happy with it. It's almost a little bit like when you're working on a painting or something like that. It's very difficult to tell how well a build is coming together when you're halfway through it, because it's kind of all of the finishing touches that actually bring everything together. And I imagine that will be the case here. So, let's get all of the rest of our pillars completed, which I think will work best as a time lapse. And I'll tell you what the best thing about recording time lapse is, I can eat crisps while I'm playing my game, which is not something that I can do when I'm recording a video. Instead, something funny will happen, and I'll want to hit the record button, and my mouth will be full of the things that I'm eating. And I'm probably going to take my mouth is full of crisp manufacturers out there who want to sponsor a Hermitcraft episode, please reach into my DMs. I mean, not in my current configuration. Come on, Pringles. I have a face for Pringles. Look at me. Me and Pringles go here. We're kindred spirits. One lost brothers. Wait, I swear I do intend to go to sleep. Have I been waffling on about Kush so much that I forgot to go to bed? Because it's been a whole night. There's no evidence of anyone sleeping, but then I'm not sure it publishes the chat anymore. I'm concerned for myself. That was a very small and very stupid part of my brain that thought maybe it's a good idea to just sit here and crunch crisps. Valuable lesson. Time lapse. You know, we've done 2 time lapses already. I've been talking enough.
Conduit of pain, helping!
What was going on about it? I mean, it's 12 o'clock at night. It's clear that I've got my time today.
Hello, helping! Nikolai is ready now.
I don't even know what to say. Let's get back on plan and crack up. Shall we get it now the next day? And I feel absolutely dreadful. Loaded crisps.
Your skin burns, your blood boils.
I've been seeing it on a comment.
Popular with the helpings.
Is there something underneath this target block that I have to be afraid of? What? Is it my base? Presumably, oh, it was a target block that I placed by accident.
You need speed, I will fade through rivers of passion.
Is there something around this? Is there something that I should hit with? I mean, I've got a bow. Is this really stupid? If you just find a target block randomly in your base?
Why do we not break open machine and take all candy?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I've got 1 arrow.
I will be careful not to swallow this.
Why's my base?
10,000 kilowatts of Russian fury. I find this screams most entertaining.
There was absolutely nothing to be afraid of. I thought there was something for me to do with it. There's nothing here. It's just a target block. Right, well, I'm going to pass this target block on. I don't know if I'm cool enough to put TNT under there. I thought I could put TNT that drops into water, but there is.
Is it really that bad? Came early. Hmm? It's supposed to come either next week or this week, from Wednesday.
I'll cook you lunch if you help me take it back. The bin hasn't been emptied yet, so if we get rid of all of this,
Sugar.
only one bin has been emptied. The yellow bin got emptied, but the red bin hasn't.
So they're gonna come back later.
They haven't been cast yet.
What?
So I was just saying if maybe we could both just spend 2 minutes just getting rid of the rubbish.
Really smooth. How's your arm doing? Is it like a lot worse?
Yeah, it is.
What did the doctor say?
It's not working.
Can you pass me anything back?
Yeah.
I was gonna clean my desk and move stuff around, but
Yep, just as much rubbish as you can. There's nothing in the bin, so let's go.
oh wait, which bit?
The red bin.
Oh. Are you just gonna lie down in bed?
What?
Are you just gonna lie down in bed when you're done?
Yeah, I'm making lunch too.
How's my top?
What?
How's my top?
Doesn't fit you.
Yeah,
You threw it
so-
out.
No, I didn't. I said don't have it.
I don't know if you've ever had this one before, but it's just tomato pasta salad.
I've had it.
Do you like it or not?
Not really, but I love pasta salad.
What?
I don't mind it, but I wouldn't buy it.
Okay.
If all of them were the same price, everything, I wouldn't buy it.
It was really the juice, so I thought I would buy it.
Mum, I'm in the middle of a run. I'm high round, so can I finish cleaning my desk? So I'll do it after I die, after lunch. Yeah.
How many hot dogs do you want?
How many are there?
How many would you like?
How many left?
There's 5 in total.
I'll just have 2.
I don't know where the bread's from.
The bread.
The bread rolls.
Oh, I ate them.
Do you want you?
Just barbecue sauce, cheese, and butter. I'll do it. I said I'll do it. No, you're not feeling up. I'll do it.
I can do it, bud.
Yeah.
You keep on going. You want to get back to your game.
No.
Okay. Did you say barbecue sauce or tomato sauce?
Barbecue.
Do you know where it is?
Yes, it's over at my desk.
Did you say cheese?
Yes, please. Did you put butter on it?
No.
No, have butter.
I haven't put butter on it. Would you like butter?
Yes, please.
Then can you please get the butter out of it?
Where is it?
These are bloody massive pickles. You only get 6 in a jar. I just got that for dinner.
Hello.
There's a mustard.
Yeah. Wait. Are you talking about proper mustard or the mustard?
English mustard. You just moved it.
I didn't.
Yes, you did. The yellow squeezy bottle.
That's American mustard.
That's it. How many do you want? 2 or 3?
2. I'm gonna continue organizing the fridge. We got 2 loaves of bread.
Yeah, one of them needs to come in. Not the one I just bought, that one.
No.
You can move it.
Is this the one that goes in the bin?
The blue one that you just cut out.
Yeah, to the top.
Yeah.
Where did you put the, like, it's jasmine wrap, so...
Yeah, that's fine. Just put them all together somewhere.
Yeah, but I'm asking where did...
Look up there.
No, why is it going in the fridge?
Oh, because I like it in the fridge. Here you go. There's a cheese wherever you'd like to put that. And there's your 2. And I'll just, do you want your parsley salad in the fridge or on your desk?
Fridge.
Are you gonna eat it or not?
Yes, just not right now.
Right, I'm gonna go have a snooze.
Oh, Mum. When you get up, can you help me with my computer? Mum?
What was that?
When you get up, can you help me with my computer?
Yeah. What the fuck is happening with them cats?
What are they doing? What? The pig.
You need to make sure that you just don't put too much out for them, Sam.
Yeah. Well, every time I do this, I do the like same amount. Every time I do that,
Hello.
they don't vomit.
Tell them now. Stick a fucking clean in it. Because they eat it too far.
Yeah, I know.